Welcome to The Explainer. We are diving straight into a topic that is the absolute bedrock of the pharmaceutical industry, pharmaceutical validation. Now, I know the word validation can sometimes sound like a boring, bureaucratic regulatory hurdle, just a box to tick, but I want you to completely throw that idea out the window. In the world of good manufacturing practice, validation is a high-stakes, logic-driven chain of evidence. It's the definitive proof that what a manufacturer says is happening is actually happening.
Think about it for a second. How do we really know a pill does exactly what it's supposed to do every single time you take it? In the life sciences, we can't just hope a drug works. We can't just rely on good intentions or a general feeling that the machines are running fine. When patient safety is on the line, we have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. We're essentially building a bulletproof case, and that case is called validation.
To make sense of all this, here is our roadmap. We're going to define validation, walk through its life cycle, verify equipment and processes, look at the art of cleaning, and finally, wrap up with systems and analytical methods. Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, defining pharmaceutical validation and building the burden of proof. Listen to the precise language regulators use here. Validation is defined as establishing by objective evidence that a process, method, or system consistently produces a result meeting predetermined specifications. I really want you to zero in on that phrase, objective evidence. This isn't about someone's opinion on the manufacturing floor. Think of it like a courtroom. We need hard, undeniable facts. And this burden of proof rests on 4 incredibly strict pillars. The evidence has to be documented, captured, and retained. It's got to be objective, strictly data, not opinions. Consistent, meaning it's reproducible no matter the day or condition. But here is the absolute kicker, predetermined. You have to set your acceptance criteria before you start testing. There is absolutely no running the machine, eyeballing the result and saying, yeah, looks good enough. You define what success looks like before the trial even begins. Which brings us to Section 2, the validation life cycle, from design to ongoing verification. Because building this evidence chain, it's not a one-and-done event. It is a continuous 4-step journey. Step 1 is design. We figure out the process on paper and really understand the product. Step 2, we qualify. We prove the physical equipment and utilities are actually up to the job. Step 3 is the process validation itself. We run the actual manufacturing, usually taking 3 or more batches, just to prove absolute consistency. And finally, Step 4 is ongoing. Even after we've proven it all works, we never take our eyes off the data. We're constantly monitoring to ensure everything stays in a state of control. Moving on to Section 3, equipment and process verification. Essentially, calling the machinery to the stand. So, sticking with our legal case analogy, we need to interrogate our equipment. We do this in 3 stages, IQ, OQ, and PQ. First up is IQ, or installation qualification. This one's pretty straightforward. It just asks, is this thing installed exactly as designed? Did we plug it into the right voltage? Are the utility connections correct? Are the materials actually what the specs asked for? IQ simply proves, hey, we set it up right. Next, we turn up the heat a bit with OQ, operational qualification. Does the equipment operate the way it was designed to across its entire intended range? We don't just run it normally here. We test worst-case parameters. We're literally pushing the machine to its limits. And honestly, a huge part of this is making sure that if something does go wrong, the safety alarms actually trigger and scream like they're supposed to. Wrapping up the trio is PQ, performance qualification. So we know it's installed right and it operates right, but can it actually do the job day in and day out? PQ verifies that the machine performs consistently over time. We're talking real or simulated production across multiple runs with a lot of extended monitoring. Now, once the equipment itself is qualified, we've got to validate the actual manufacturing process. There are basically 2 ways to tackle this. The traditional approach relies on a kind of magic number, 3 or more consecutive, totally successful batches manufactured exactly to protocol before you can start commercial production. But there's also an alternative we use a lot today called continuous process verification. Instead of banking on just 3 test batches, this modern, data-driven approach uses real-time statistical monitoring to prove the process is under control every single minute it runs. All right, on to Section 4, the art of cleaning, erasing the evidence of the past batch. Look, doing the dishes at home is just a chore, but in a pharma plant, it is a highly scientific,
heavily risk-based endeavor to completely prevent cross-contamination. So how do we actually prove a massive stainless steel manufacturing tank is clean? We purposefully go hunting for the worst-case product. Basically, the stickiest, hardest to clean drug in the facility serves as our marker. We use precise sampling, taking swabs and rinses in really specific, hard-to-reach locations. Then we use a validated analytical method to hunt for invisible residue. And just like process validation, we typically have to nail this across 3 consecutive cleaning cycles to prove we've got it down. And we're certainly not just guessing what clean means. The limits are strictly mathematically and scientifically justified. We calculate metrics like MACO, maximum allowable carryover, and ADE or PDE, which stand for acceptable or permitted daily exposure. In plain English, we're taking the toxicity and dosage of the drugs, combining that with the surface area of the equipment, and mathematically proving that even if some microscopic, invisible residue gets left behind, it is 100% safe for the next patient. Let's head into our final section, Section 5, Systems and Analytical Methods, the unseen digital and analytical guardians. These are the invisible frameworks holding the entire physical operation together. Because let's face it, you can't run a modern pharma plant without computers. Enter Computer System Validation, or CSV. The rule here is incredibly simple but massive in scale. Any computerized system that affects product quality, GMP records, or patient safety must be validated for its intended use. If a computer touches the data or the drug, it goes on trial. It has to be proven reliable. To pull this off, we start by documenting user requirements. We use industry frameworks like GAMP5 to drive risk assessments that tell us exactly how rigorously we need to test the software. We run IQ, OQ, and PQ equivalent tests on the code and the servers. We make absolutely sure every single software patch triggers change control. And, of course, we have to comply with rules like 21 CFR Part 11, ensuring that a digital electronic signature is just as secure and legally binding as ink on paper. And finally, let's talk about the lab itself. How do we know the tests we're running on the final drug are actually telling us the truth? Well, we use analytical method validation, which is governed by a guideline called ICH-Q2. We literally test our testing methods. We check specificity, can it clearly distinguish the drug? Accuracy, is the result close to the true value? Precision, is it repeatable? We test linearity, range, detection limits, and, to my personal favorite, robustness. Basically, if the lab temperature shifts by a single degree, does the test still hold up? Every analytical method has to pass these parameters before we can trust a single result. So, bringing all of this together, next time you open a medicine cabinet, will you just see a simple pill? Or will you see the massive, invisible, unbreakable chain of objective evidence protecting you? Validation is not just some regulatory burden, it is the ultimate promise of quality. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. I hope it gave you a fresh perspective on the absolute science of safety. Catch you next time.